welcome to the SOLO4LIFE podcast. We have Blake and Alex. Alex is back. We finally were able to communicate with him to join us.
From another world.
I actually don't have any gaming news topics. I thought I did, but we'll just discuss topics I have written down.
I also have a few too. Came up with some. Asked if we could do this.
Unless everybody's still playing.
Well, yesterday Dave the Diver came out on PS.
Oh, oh.
I mean, I already have it for my PC, but it's a lot more fun on the console.
I'm downloading that right now.
That's pretty good.
Dave the
I'm
Diver,
downloading it now.
a lot of fun. It was just hard to play on the computer, so I lost interest in that way. But like last night, I was up till like 2 a.m. playing it, and wanted to keep going, but I was like, I need to go to sleep. Like,
Yes, sir.
that and Pacific Drive, like those two games, like I don't often like feel like fuck, I just want to stay up. You know what I mean? Half the time I'm playing games, and I feel like I'm just passing time. But like Pacific Drive and Dave the Diver, they're both like games that I'm genuinely like immersed into.
Dave the Diver. Let's see what kind of gameplay loop is here.
Well, it's
I think it looks really interesting.
they say it's a roguelike, but it really isn't. I mean, if you die, you don't get any of the materials you went to go get. But it's also a managing game where you manage your sushi bar from all the fish that you catch. And, there's and they're all actual fish too. And
Isn't there some sort of like Lovecraftian element to it?
yeah, the first boss is a squid. like a massively giant squid. Like the first time you see it, it's like its eye literally fills up the background of this whole screen.
I saw there's a Sharktopus boss fight as well.
Yeah. No, it's tons of fun. It's one of those addicting games, Like the gameplay loop is like really like you get really into it, like because you
Yeah.
enhance recipes and you like hire employees and you do all that. Obviously,
They're doing a crossover with Godzilla too.
oh yeah, yeah, and the Dredge one. Which, by the way, Dredge was another game I got pretty into, all the way to the
Yeah.
end. Like,
That's one I looked at getting.
no, it's a lot of fun. So, like, I don't know. Those just seem like the games I would suggest right now. Obviously, I've talked about how Pacific Drive is, and I really enjoy that one. It's really intense, and I have died a lot. A couple days ago, though, I started that. Like I was saying on the group chat, I started Dark Souls 2 again as a sorcerer for the first time. Yeah, no, I'm actually really enjoying it because I just skipped everything else and went straight to Heidi's tower because with magic I can keep my distance on the knights. So I despawn the entire area to level up, and then I beat the dragon rider. I accidentally lifted all the platforms, so I had to beat him outright, which I didn't even get hit. And then what I'm finding fun about being a sorcerer in Dark Souls 2 is that I have to literally like figure out how far I can go at first. You know what I mean? Like the fun because
Spacing.
because you only have so many spells, or you only have the
You have a set number of times you can use a spell.
right. Yeah, and yeah.
Did you know that you can, if you buy a second copy of the same spell, it gives you more uses?
Yeah, I have 3 copies of the same spell. Now that my attunement is like really high, my intelligence and attunement, I have put nothing into vigor. Um, I have put a little bit into endurance and a tiny bit into faith, and like I've literally everything else has gone because that's what I wanted to do when I despawned the entire area. I just wanted to make sure that my magic was like really powerful because then I could just go to the Forest of the Fallen Giants, and it's not going to be shit regardless of how weak I am personally. So right now I'm just a glass cannon, but it's actually a lot of fun. I beat the Flex Style Sentry too, which was the second boss I beat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have to say, like, Dark Souls 2 sorcery, and that's just the beginning. I just found the guy who sells sorceries, bought them all, and then went about the
Very
game.
good. The way of the magic.
It's very hard. That's the other thing. Like, I have died so many fucking bosses are easy, but just the average run through,
For a level.
yeah, the No Man's Wharf that I put down.
I don't like that level's a nightmare for me anyway.
Oh yeah. Luckily, all of the night crawlers were glitched out in the doorway with my spells. I could
Oh
just sit
yeah.
there with them, and they would never come and attack me because they were right between the torch and the wall. I was like, yeah.
It's actually a pretty funny level when you run through it. You have all kinds of crazy enemies, and then you got a random ninja enemy right there at the very end that starts
Oh
chasing
yeah.
you around.
Oh
And
yeah.
then you
No.
have Gavlan, real Gavlan deal.
Like, yeah. I almost killed him. I
Ooh.
panicked because I had no health left, and I got up to the top of the ladder. I turned, I saw something, and I just shot without aiming, and missed him. And I was like, oh, that's the guy
That
who
was
I.
one of the things I didn't like of my initial playthrough of Dark Souls 2 that you could not sell any items until you found that guy.
Yeah, that's why that was the other. Well, one, like I could kill all those knights, and they're all 600 souls each, besides the
Yeah.
giant knights, which were 400, which took much longer. But yeah, once I got to the No Man's Wharf, that's because I was a sorcerer. That's where the guy who sells the spells is,
Yep.
and I didn't intentionally despawn the entirety of No Man's Wharf, but I died so many fucking times that I killed everyone until. So No Man's Wharf is empty. That's how many times I died.
Oh, nice. You killed all the little pirate dudes hanging off the bridge, off the wood.
Yeah, most of the time.
Nice.
I forget about him out of frustration.
Yeah.
And he'll like run through and he'll be like, yeah, I forgot that there's someone right behind me. And I die and lose my souls.
There's a beautiful run back in Dark Souls 2 where the Medusa boss that has the poison around her, you had to drain it by setting fire to the windmill.
Yep.
I didn't realize how great that run back was, and I got it down to a science. You got to do so much just to get through it, but if you can do it right, you can get back to the boss in maybe a minute. You go up those stairs, and you get just knock out that one ninja, whatever it's called, and then you quickly go up the ladder. The two ninjas that pop up on the balcony, they don't chase you into the other room when you go up the stairs, and
Mm.
and then I pull out my bow and arrow, and then I shoot the ninja that's attached to the ceiling, and I get him walking towards me, and he actually busts through the poison jars. It poisons
Yep.
him, and then I hit him, and he usually dies in the one or two hits. And then through one of the windows, I hit one of the guards over there next to the fog gate, and I get him chasing after me. And then once he gets close to the fire sorceress, I dodge, I make my way through him, and then the other one is also making its way towards me, so I just get through him. That way, when I'm going through the fog gate, they don't tag me. But it's a spectacular run back. I love how much is involved in getting back to the boss.
Mm,
I never really appreciated the run back there, just because I just thought it was tedious.
I am so annoyed by Sir Alone's run back that I gave up
I'll be right
playing
back.
my other guy. I was like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't like.
Sir Alon has a horrible run back.
Yeah, because I'm just like I'm a guts, from Berserk. Like that's the entire character I'm making. So big sword, big like against the Fume Knight, it was fun. It was actually pretty easy.
My
Uh,
worst run back was the Blue Smelter Demon. I thought someone I thought was the worst.
oh yeah, and I think the only reason why I think the Sir Alone one is a little worse is because you have to watch that cutscene every
Mm-hmm.
fucking time you go there.
Right.
And um so despawning that area because I had to despawn at least half of the blue smelter demon because like just the fight alone was already frustrating enough, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, fuck this, dude. And like it took me like 3 months before I finally like left that area and finally got to the Fume Knight, and like I beat him twice. just so I can have both his weapons
Right.
and his armor and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like where my character's at right now. But unfortunately, like, yeah, fucking Sir Aloni's giant cutscene and all of these violent violent nights that you cannot run past. There is like just no way to run past 90% of everything in Sir Aloni's dream world.
You got to take out a few of them.
Oh yeah. Like, and then you got the giant geckos, and then you got the fucking, the just the knights, really, like all of the samurais that are running around. Those things are they just kill you so fucking fast. Like,
They move around so quickly and herky jerkily too.
yeah. And then you got the geckos while you're dealing with all that. So,
Are you talking about the ones that do curse?
no, the ones
That
that
spit the fog?
shoot the lava balls.
Oh, yeah. I remember now. Yeah.
But yeah,
Like the ones you find in the Forest of the Fallen Giants in that pit.
yes. Yes. Then where you have to like find a pathway behind them
Mm-hmm.
in order to kill them. And they're the
Yeah, I know.
same.
I remember what you're talking about now.
Yeah, like I said, like everyone besides dragons, being a great sword, an ultimate great sword wielder, and fighting dragons was like the like I just looked at it. It's 526 hours, and I put into the game because I am still have not beaten it because I spent so much time on dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Game night I spent 2 days on, and now I just that cutscene just kills me with Sir Aloni. I just can't like enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then I die as soon as I get to Sir Aloni because I don't know his moves and he kills me really fast and I'm like, all right, let's do it again. That's if I make it to him.
There's only one boss in all the FromSoft games that I've never beaten, and it's the Ancient Dragon in Dark Souls 2.
Oh, I beat him. That took forever too. That I want to say he's harder than the Slumbering Dragon, but he certainly takes longer. It's more of
Are you
just,
talking about the Poison Dragon in the DLC?
dude, he was just the biggest nightmare for me. Like, I had to summon someone. Like, I just could not handle it. Like, I was like losing my shit over trying to fight the Slumbering Dragon. I was like, this is the only boss that I've just been so frustrated with,
I got
besides the Blue Smoke Demon.
I actually got really lucky with him. I actually defeated him on the first attempt.
Oh. I took like a week and I had to use a summon.
I think I beat him on my Hex build.
I swear 300 or 200 of those hours are definitely just how many times I've died fighting a boss.
I've only done the DLC bosses once each.
When you
Well, I used the bonfire aesthetic and fought them a few times so I can get all their stuff.
when you guys think From Software finally realized that fighting the dragon's head was the better option,
Fighting the
or at
dragon's
least
head.
adding it so it could be an optional strategy? Because I realize a lot of players still attack the feet, but at what point do you think From Software was like, "Hey, we'll just go ahead and give them the option to start fighting the heads of the dragon"?
Oh, maybe Dark Souls 3?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 'Cause, I mean, you have the ancient wyvern in the
Yeah.
vanilla game where you just simply
Yeah.
jump on his head,
Jump on his head.
and then in the Ring City we're immediately met with Dark Eater Mitter, where we can whereas you definitely want to fight him at the head.
I've never fought Dark Eater Midir, and I've never
Oh,
fought
what?
That's
no,
a fight. That's a battle of attrition.
Slave
You
Knight
must.
Gale. I'm at the DLC. I'm stuck at the not boss NPC guy who wants to kill me in Ashes of Ariandel.
The what boss?
Are you talking about the dude with the black fire sword?
Yeah, that guy. I just can't get past him. And this is with my new character. Like, I'm not even using my New Game Plus character. Like I'm just using a normal pyromancer, and he just
his you can break his poise pretty easily, but I mean, boy, that means you've never fought Sister Freed.
no.
Man, you're missing out
Oh
on one of the
man,
best fights in Dark Souls 3.
dude,
I haven't
Sister
fought a
Freed is
single.
insane.
Yeah, I haven't fought a single DLC boss yet.
Is that still
She's actually one of my favorite ones.
that's still the only three-phase boss fight, right?
Uh,
I want to say no.
I
Did
thought
Elden
the name
Ring make
was
names?
Genichiro's a 3-phase boss.
You're right, that's right.
Flame. Demon of Hatred is a 3-phase
Yeah,
That's
boss.
true.
Demon of
Sekiro does
Hatred.
have a lot of three phases, don't it? Yeah, don't. Yeah.
And then then the Demon Prince, wouldn't that count as a?
No,
Because you got to fight.
that's two phases.
Yeah, I guess it is.
You
You
know,
just got to fight those two demons at the same time.
in Sekiro, it almost doesn't feel like three phases; just feels like an extension. But because Genichiro's fight, those first two health bars, is basically the same fight. Because I don't think he adds anything on the second phase. The third phase is where it changes, but I guess still technically it could be considered three phases.
And Ishin Sword Saint, that's a 4-phase fight.
Which one?
Because you got the final boss fight in Sekiro, Sword Saint Ishin.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you got
Because you fight Genichiro, and then he has 3 separate health bars, which with 3 separate movesets.
Yeah, that's right. So we had a okay. I totally forgot about the 4-phase boss in Sekiro.
But as far as Dark Souls games and Bloodborne, I don't think there is any other 3-phase boss.
I don't even remember any in Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, Melania has 2 health bars.
My guard has 2 health bars. Elden Beast,
Who?
2 health bars.
What was that first one you said?
Rykard?
Rykard. Yeah, that's right. He has 2 health bars. And then you have Radagon and Elden Beast.
2 separate health bars.
Oh, hold on a second.
Godskin Duo is a weird health bar situation. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, there's no.
I just knew too. I just knew when I was fighting Melania, I just knew she was going to have 2 health bars too. I just knew it, especially because there was a cutscene after you deplete that first health bar. I was like, oh, why is there a cutscene? I'm definitely going to have to fight her again.
I watched it before I fought her.
Oh,
I was
God.
surprised it took me an hour, but luckily the weapons I had were really good at consistently striking your poise. Like just fuck you up.
I'm wondering if
Gale only has 1 health bar, don't he?
Who?
Slave Knight Gale. Yeah,
Okay.
one
Yeah.
health bar.
Yeah.
What is the name of his king?
Nameless King has 2 phases. You fight him on
He does.
the Wyvern, and then you fight him
Yeah.
just Nameless King. Do you
Yep.
think do you think anything will ever beat the surprise for the at the Guardian Ape surprise second phase? Do you think we'll see anything that surprising again?
I think Sister Freed's 3rd phase is up there, but I don't think so. That Guardian Ape,
We see so many.
they tricked you.
Yeah, so many reaction videos of people. Oh man, I finally got him! Finally got him! But
It's because they trick us, but because they put the Shinobi execution
right
thing up there, and it's like, oh.
So I wonder what they need to do next is make sure that the second phase is actually tougher than the first phase, because the headless ape is actually not really that complicated.
Yeah, once you get over the shock and awe of it coming back to life, it's just another deflection battle.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
And you got to make sure you run away when it does its terror scream.
its stab attack surprised me pretty hard. First few times that it did it, the one where it's like,
hold on.
Yeah, that one you got to. I usually just run away from that, and then when it goes and sticks its arm straight up in the air with the sword to do that big fall down attack, if you deflect that attack, then you get a good opportunity to put some damage in, and it deals good posture damage.
I missed the deflection system.
It's so good, man. When I was going back in to finish the platinum, I'm still one trophy away from the platinum, and it's the one where you have to max out all the skills. I need like 27 skill points to fucking get that shit.
I grinded a little bit on it. I'm sure.
I'm in New Game Plus. Yeah, New Game Plus. Or maybe New Game Plus Plus. I'm in New Game Plus Plus. And God. I am not loving the grind. I'm thinking about just completing the game again and then just going and running through the game all over again and just fighting all the bosses. And I think maybe I'll get skill points quicker that way than just trying to farm the same enemy over and over. And it'll be less boring.
I think I was on New Game Plus 4 when I started grinding. You're talking about Sekiro, right?
Yeah, I'm on New Game Plus.
Oh, what's
2.
that? Hitachi Estate or
Harada?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been like 4 years since I played it, but I remember that I had that entire area so locked down that I would just go through it over and over again. And I was like, yeah. It's like, fuck your shit. Because you get into that whole rhythm, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially when I was strong enough to just strike and kill,
Yep.
you know. Like,
It's very much a rhythm type game, ironically.
oh, so I was gonna say earlier, have you guys noticed that Dark Souls 2 is the only game with the most environmental things in the boss battles?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like I don't think there's a couple in Dark Souls.
You got poison a couple times, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Is it
fire.
Demon in 2 or is he in 1?
Huh?
Which one's the centipede demon in?
The first one.
Yeah, Dark Souls 1.
We got that one. The Taurus demon kind of has a plot. Or yeah.
I always forget about that boss fight. It's so unmemorable to me, the centipede demon.
Yeah.
I love it.
He is one of the ones with an environmental hazard, though.
Yep.
I mean, I
think the most notorious one for me is the old Iron King with his fucking lava pit. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I really love that arena that they made for that fight because it's perfectly designed for you to avoid everything without dodging. You can go to the side of the building while he's doing all the fire flurries, and then when he's doing the laser, which will cut through the building, you can actually, if you read it well enough, you can actually cut. You can actually run to the back of his hand and then punish him for it. So that makes the fight a lot more fun for me if you just don't dodge through it and just adapt with no rolling.
Mm.
That also has a very interesting run back with the whole. I think I actually.
Oh, man.
You have to jump over the turtle. Sometimes I can time it where I can jump over the turtle, not have to worry about him.
Which one?
The turtle on the stairs. The last turtle you come across when you're going back to the old the Iron King, whatever.
In that circular room.
Yeah, with all the flames. You can turn off the flames, and then you can just jump right over him.
So one where you're going down and you fight like 3 of them, or multiple of them?
No,
that's just before that.
You just have one turtle, I think.
No, I mean
yeah, that's just one.
Is that the deal? The final boss is like a bunch of Iron Knights or something?
Are you thinking about the Ivory King?
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Someone actually made an interesting comparison that I didn't think of. Was comparing the Ivory King to Radon, in terms of just having other people fight with you, have other NPCs fighting with you.
Yeah, if you unlock all those dudes, how do you do? How many are there's like 5 of them, isn't there?
I think so. I think only one person has done it with just one knight with you, because you can only have one knight with you. He's mandatory, but it took such a long time. That's one reason why I don't like the Ivory King so much, because it's just weighed down so much by that gimmick. I think I've only defeated him once and never went back.
See, this is the thing about the Ivory King, is if you want to grind, every time you kill one of them, you get like 1,200 points or so. or even more. I don't remember, but I remember that it would just keep building up. So I would purposely die, and then I would make sure that the last time that I die is near where I start. So that way,
You just pick up the souls.
and then homeward bone it back, and then you just have all these points that you got from just doing this boss battle over and over again. Because each
Yeah.
one gives you souls, and then the final, Ivory King gives you the most. But obviously, they give you a substantial amount, so you can just sit there and just grind on them the whole all day, and because obviously they're just going to get easier.
So you got So the final bosses of each DLC is Ivory King, Fume Knight, and Sir Alon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Sir Alone was in the Broom Tower.
Oh, is he after the Fume Knight? Is he in the same DLC as the Fume Knight?
Well, you
Yeah.
access Sir Alone through his armor.
All right.
Yeah, which
That
is
I
in the Broom Tower.
Oh, okay, so what's the final boss of the other one, the Sunken Crown?
Oh, it's the dragon.
Yeah, the slumber.
Sin is the final one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's after Alana.
Oh, okay.
Right after Alana.
Oh, okay.
And then what was the frozen one?
You had the
Helium
tiger.
Moist? Oh, yeah, the double tigers.
Yeah, the tiger, the Ivory King, and the double tigers.
You get through the wasteland of hell with the reindeer.
Yeah, the frozen
Yeah.
outskirts.
Dude, that shit is bullshit.
Oh no, that's another fucking hours and hours I spent at despawning reindeer.
I looked up a YouTube video to see the optimal route, and even the optimal route, you have to fight like one of them or two of them still.
Mm.
Yeah, well, no, I literally didn't know what the optimal route was, so I went through the entire thing in the route that I found and killed every reindeer until they stopped coming out, all the way to Lud and Zidwig, or Zudwig. What?
Yeah, I got really frustrated with that area.
Did you guys miss out on the DLC weapon gifts on the PS3 or the PS3 generation of release of Dark Souls 2?
I almost guarantee that I did.
You did get the weapons?
No, I guarantee I missed it.
Oh. Yeah, because you got a bloody. Do it now.
I didn't start playing till Bloodborne.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on the PS3 for Dark Souls 2 and the other, Xbox 360, when the DLC was released, each time the DLC was released or something like that, a weapon reskin would release in a chest in Majula. One was a bloody great club. The other one was a kind of it looked like a, it was, what's it called? Moonlight. It was like a moonlight longsword. That was my favorite one. You had a black hilt Murakumo. And what was that other one? I forgot what the other one was. But they were really cool weapons. Too bad we don't see a whole lot of reskins in the games now, but when they released those, I still have my save file on my PS3 with those weapons on it. I wonder if you could sell that on eBay for anything.
That would be insane. So did they have like special abilities, or was it just an aesthetic thing?
Just aesthetics. But it was really cool seeing blood on the Great Club.
Yeah.
Just permanently on there.
It would have been cool if they had included that with the Scholar of the First Sin release.
Yeah, it's strange that they didn't do that. They also the pre-order or the deluxe exclusive items for Demon Souls, you can't get those. You still can't get those if you got the physical copy.
Are you talking about the remake version?
Right. The PS5
release. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not crazy good items like from
no,
what
they're
I've
not.
heard, but it still sucks that they lock them away like that. Like, oh,
I agree.
You gotta get digital. You gotta do it.
Yeah. I've never grinded to find all the tokens to get the Penetrator's armor either.
Yeah, I never even tried that. I want to at least try the mirror levels.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. either.
levels.
Yeah, you can.
Or Demon Souls.
Yeah, Demon Souls for PS5, you can mirror the levels, so it's kind of gives it a fresh perspective because you have to kind of adjust your brain from the other. I bet that is weird. I definitely got to give that a go.
That might be where Neo got their inspiration from.
Well,
Because
this was
literally every level has a mirror level.
Neo.
Like,
You said Neo?
yeah, both Neo 1 and 2, like,
Oh, well
because you go
this
back to each place multiple times,
well
and
this
each one has a reverse level.
well this was after Neo, so maybe Demon Souls got it from
Oh,
Neo.
they didn't put that in the original?
No, no.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I was gonna say Neo. That was like one thing about Neo. I don't know. I feel like if the whole loot system wasn't so,
I hate it.
yeah, just overwhelming all the time, like it was a chore. But if it wasn't for that, I think Neo would almost well, no, because I like the aesthetics of Dark Souls more. But
It's
like,
got really fun combat.
yeah, the combat system is a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you can keep it as simple as you want, or you can be as advanced as you want. You want to find like little. I like it because you have like 6 or 8 different weapons you can choose from, and they all
I
have
went
these.
with the Kusarigama.
Yeah, I did too.
Do the
Uh,
stances matter who you're fighting, like Ghost of Tsushima?
and,
I
yeah,
don't think so. Did they?
they did in the because like there was one that was for armor, one
Oh,
like it was
yeah.
purposely made to break through armor, and then you had I don't remember what the application for the rest of them were.
Well,
I remember now.
I
maybe I
remember
need
that
to
being like kind of something that killed me.
maybe I need to play Neo with applying stances properly. I think that might have been one of my problems, because I just didn't use
Yeah, it's
stances.
pretty important to do the stances.
Yeah, the stances are like the main thing that you're supposed because the fun part about the stances is when you have a horde of people coming at you all with different stances that you need to attack them with. You're sitting there switching stances like on the fly depending on who your sword is about to hit. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that part about Ghost of Tsushima was fun. The one-on-one duels, which were my favorite, but after I didn't get past the second section of the continent. But after the duels, I mean, I would like purposely be switching my stances on the fly just because it was like it just made the whole fight feel fresh. Like I enjoyed it. Like I know one's good for parrying sword on sword combat, and one's good for breaking through armor, which I think is the wind one, where his sword is like up like this.
So I think the wind one is the one that you need to use for the brutes, which is the big dudes.
Yeah,
I think, and the stone stance is for just regular sword enemies. The water stance, I think, is for spear enemies, and then I can't remember what the last stance is called, but it's for the sword and shield guys.
I'm gonna have to look at it.
We're still talking about Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm really curious on how they'll expand the combat in the second one.
A second stance wheel.
Maybe.
that would be more fun.
I mean, what did Neo? I didn't really play Neo 2. How did Neo 2 take it?
Neo 2
Because I've heard it's better.
is way better, and I liked Neo 1. You know what I mean? Like Neo 2, um, it definitely has like more weapons to choose from. One, which was really fun. There's like these hatchets that you could throw, as well as like like
Yeah.
there's two of them, and like one of the attacks was throwing them. See, the thing that I just love about Neo so much is um it just not just the weapons, by the way, the magic and the ninjutsu, because you could literally have a whole character dedicated to only using items. Like no,
Right.
like I would use the Kirasama Ogami. That's how you say it.
Kusarigama.
Right. And that would be like the main weapon. But then, and this isn't number one. Then I would like have bombs and shurikens and
Your bow and
caltrops,
arrow.
poison, and a huge cannon that I would shoot out of a barrel.
Don't they have guns too?
And yeah, they have
You have rifles. Yeah,
rifles,
rifles.
cannons, and bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Those are
I
three.
used a rifle and a bow and arrow in it.
I really like the scythe in that one too.
I never used that one, I don't think.
And the Odachi was pretty. I like what's the split staff? I think that's what it's called. That's the one in number 2, and I just love the shit out of that and the scythe. And what was the other one? There was another one that was like the dual blades. That's a good one. Oh man, I can't think of it. It's a staff of some sort. I think it's a Orochi. That's not it. Is that what it is?
I don't know. I didn't play a second one.
Staff, big blade at the end, like the actual weapon itself, not.
Oh, kind of like a halberd.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
the Chinese version.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the Mongols used it in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, those are fun. So I like those.
Well, did we get to what Blake is currently playing?
Oh no, I been playing Final Fantasy 16 the last couple days.
Yeah,
Today and yesterday.
You took care of Muhammad.
Yep. Got Bahamut down earlier today. That was a wild ride. Fucking 3 health bars. It felt like.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 health bars.
Those cinematic
And the
fights
final-
are spectacular and really fun.
Oh man. And the last part of the fight, you're basically fighting this motherfucker in space. And it was just like, holy shit.
Wow. I need to finish it because it's a shame that I finished Rebirth, but I haven't finished Final Fantasy 16 that has my favorite combat in the Final Fantasy series.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I stopped playing for a while is because I'm forcing myself to do all the side quests.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something I have to do. It's just like a weird OCD thing. I have to do all the side quests.
I got burned out on it.
Yeah, but I finally got some side quests that the rewards were worth a damn and not just upgrade mats. But I got at the end of one side quest, this dude upgraded my satchel so I could hold more potions. That was a nice surprise. And then at the end of another one, I got usually you get upgrade mats, but then at the end of this one, I got a super rare upgrade mat that I had been needing to upgrade my sword, which I was like, oh shit, that was great. And then sometimes the side quests, have some emotional beats to them, but usually they're really ho-hum and really, really mundane and boring.
Yeah,
But the main narrative has been kicking it up. It's what I was hoping Dragon's Dogma 2's main campaign was going to be. It's just very dramatic, and it's really, really cool, really dope.
So did the DLCs add on to the story, or did they just add more creatures to fight?
Yeah, they definitely are supposed to add on to the story. I haven't gotten to either one of them yet.
Okay. Yeah,
But I'm almost certain that they add on to the story, because I don't know this for sure, but I think the final boss of the main story makes some sort of reappearance, or he has influence in the Rising Tides DLC that has to do with Leviathan. I don't know that for a fact, but some of the stuff I've been reading alludes to that.
So you still haven't touched Dragon's Dogma 2?
Not in 2 weeks.
Wow.
No, I'd say it's officially on the back burner.
Uh-oh.
I haven't uninstalled it yet, so that's how I know that that's how I know it's not in the backlog. But
you might as well just grind it out and finish it.
I should. I just know that final third of the game is going to take a long time to do. once I start the true ending sequence. I know that there's going to be like a whole bunch of the game left after that. I just don't know if I have it in me to traverse all over the fucking map like that over and over.
So that's the only games you've got shuffling around.
I've been, also doing the Cyberpunk expansion, Phantom of Liberty. Its story is also really, really cool. Spy espionage stuff. Idris Elba, his character is super cool.
Is Keanu Reeves really good in it?
He is actually. I enjoy him a lot. You talk to him pretty frequently. You talk to Johnny pretty frequently. That's his character in the game, Johnny Silverhand.
His name is also John.
Do what?
Oh, it's just funny. His name's John in that game is because he plays as John Wick, so he's got another character named John.
Right, that's true. He's kind of a badass, but he's also super arrogant, super full of himself, and also kind of just like an asshole. But I enjoy his character quite a bit, and there's some sequences you go through where you're playing as him in a memory, and his gun is super fucking strong and fun to use. It basically one shots every single enemy, and it makes you feel like a real badass. At least it does me. And it has this special attack where if you hit a certain button, it'll reload and shoot fire from the barrel or some shit and light shit on fire like a flamethrower. It's super fucking cool. But I actually managed to unlock it in the regular game because for most of the game you can only use it when you're doing his memories. But you can actually find it in the main game, and it's actually not as strong in the regular game as it is in the memories. You're not one-shotting everything with it, but it's still pretty strong.
Sounds like a weapon he uses in John Wick 4.
I haven't seen that yet.
And it's funny. It's weird how whenever you unlock something and it's not as powerful as when a character's using it, or is not as big, like in Twisted Metal Black, when you finally unlock Minion, it's just significantly smaller than the Minion you fight in the game.
Yeah, and I don't love that, honestly.
That game is stupid fucking hard, so I bought it like a month and a half ago.
What'd you buy?
Twisted Metal Black. And I'm just like, yeah. Because I was playing the other ones. So I was like, I'm gonna beat Twisted Metal Black, and I can't win. First area. I die.
Did you? What difficulty are you on?
I don't know. I don't even think I touched the difficulty.
I think it's default on easy.
No.
Yeah, they
Me, apparently.
Yeah,
I'll go Platinum Cuphead, but I can't beat one level in Twisted Metal.
I don't recommend any Twisted Metal game on hard. It just turns into a extremely RNG based situation. It's just best to play it on normal mode.
Because you can't see if someone's going to shoot you or not. You look at the map and you just see little blips.
Yeah, it just turns into chaos, and it's just not really how the game is supposed to be designed or played. So I don't recommend. It can be done on hard mode. I've seen it done by people, but usually they have to camp around. You don't really get to enjoy a whole lot of the game on hard mode. You just got to do a bunch of really boring tactics.
I got really far in Twisted Metal 2 with Axel. It's funny. Everyone says that Twisted Metal 3 is just awful and shit. And I'm just like, that's the one I remember.
It's hard. It's really hard for me to play the ones on PS1 because you really got to adapt to the controls. I can play it for a while and then finally kind of jump back into my 12-year-old self and play it like I used to, but it just takes so long. I'm like, man, these controls are just whacked. And
Be right back.
Yeah, no, there's quite a few games that I have installed lately. Well, in the last, 6 months. I'm just like, this is definitely not how I remember it. I got Warlords Battle Cry 3. That was a game I played as a kid. And
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's just like another. What are those games? What's an Age of Mythology game considered? Age of
Oh, like
Civ game?
a tactical kind of thing,
Yeah, but you're like building a
a
city.
strategy game.
You like build your soldiers and your city
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
scratch. Anyways, so yeah, you do the same there, but you can pick from like blood elves to demons to zombies to locusts to obviously humans, paladins. There's like a huge list of different things that you can play as, all with, and when you pick one, like you get like their whole army. So you have all of these different buildings from each one, all these different effects, abilities, and monsters or whatever units that you control. You know,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun, but it's just I don't know. It's not how I remember it. But I also might have played an older one, and that's probably what I'm remembering. I don't remember which Battle Cry I played, but I played one of them, and I really enjoyed it. The other one I got that I played as a kid was Sins of the Solar Empire. You ever heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
It's the same thing, but in space. And you colonize planets, so you move, and you also go to like different universes. Like you can do that in one campaign.
And these are on PS2.
No, it's PC only. These
Oh,
are
okay.
only PC games.
Well, that might as well not exist.
Yeah, this is like ones that I had the disc for, you know what I mean? It would pop in,
Right,
like,
right, right.
I don't even have a disc tray in my PC. We've just moved beyond.
What you drinking, Zach?
Oh, that's ginger beer. It's not. It's non-alcoholic.
Oh,
It's really spicy though.
Yeah, I like ginger beer.
It
I
threw
like
me off because I
oh,
was thinking it was gonna be ginger ale. I got it from my wife because she loves ginger ale. And when she took a sip, she was like, "Ugh." As I took a sip, I was like, "Ugh," too. And then, but I kind of fell in love with it. But it's really rough on the throat.
when I was going that whole year not drinking, that would I would be the DD and I would just go get ginger beer. It was called Cock and Bowl.
Hmm. Hmm.
So every time I'd go to the bar, can I get a cock and bowl?
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Wow.
like basically, I am not drinking tonight.
I guess Ghost of Tsushima counts as something I've been playing too since I just
Oh
got the
yeah.
platinum for it like Tuesday. The Iki Island expansion was really nice. It was a really nice send off for the end of the game. I really enjoyed that. It had, it's just such a great game, such a great story. Jin has become one of my top favorite PlayStation protagonists. He's right up there with Jack and Kratos. Just phenomenal character.
Well, wanted to bring up the Elden Ring DLC. So, it's been, from what I understand, it's been officially confirmed that Moog is the boss you need to defeat to access the DLC.
Yeah, and as long as you've also beaten Radon. Radon
Right.
is mandatory as well.
Okay. So why is he mandatory?
Well, I think
Because he's
I
only
don't
there
know
for
why.
Ronnie's quest, right?
I mean, I reckon so because you can beat the game without beating him,
Right.
but beating him accesses Nokron, the Eternal City, but you don't need to go there to get to Mogwin Palace. You can either do Vari's quest or find that gateway in the frozen part of the map
Has it been?
because there's a.
Oh, sorry.
I just didn't know. I didn't know if you guys were aware that there's like this gateway in the frozen part of the map. That's usually how most people get to him.
Oh, Radon.
No, to Moog.
Oh, to Moog. There's a
There's
gateway
a there's a
the
portal.
mountaintops of the giants.
There's a portal that you can take. It'll take you to his map.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd rather take that way than going through that finger dude. I'll have to find out where that's
It's
at.
it's hidden. It's hidden kind of. So you'll have to really look for it or just look up a video.
Is it on the other half of the mountaintops of the giants?
I think it's somewhere around the frozen lake where you find that frozen dragon.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Because I hate having to go through that whole process of the finger guy every time.
Yeah.
I
That's
like spaced out for a second because my roommate was leaving. Finger guy? What are you talking
the
about?
guy that takes your finger.
Vare, White Mask Vare. He's the first NPC you see as soon as you start the game, remember?
Yeah.
Like trying to think of like the finger guy.
Well, he you have to he gives you these bloody fingers that you use to invade, and he wants you to invade three people's worlds. And if you do that, he'll give you a handkerchief. And what he wants you to do is he wants you to soak that handkerchief in the blood of a finger maiden. And I think there's two finger maidens you can find to do this with, but
I thought
the
it was
one I've
three.
always used. Is there three? Okay.
You
The
got the
one
one
I've
where you
always
start,
used.
and then the
Yeah.
chick that's looking for her father, I think. I think you can use hers.
Oh. Okay.
What's the third one?
I can't. I can't remember.
I
I
remember
just know that. I just knew there was more than one.
I chose the one that volunteered to give it to you or accepted to give it to you. I can't remember. I remember there was like one good option for getting the blood of the finger maiden.
But
Or maybe she was dead already.
Yeah. But yeah, you just soak that handkerchief in blood and bring it to him, and then he'll give you a seal, and he'll tell you not to use it, but you can use it whenever, and it'll just take you right to him.
that's a quite a set piece. The Moog arena with the pelvis and the egg and the arm drooping out of it. I mean, obviously that's got to be meant for something later on, but it's just an interesting thing to look at. I remember when I defeated Moog, I just couldn't help but just kind of look all over it because it was just such a I just never seen anything like it before.
No, I definitely felt the same when I
It
was.
just looked so important. Like you thought it had you had to do something.
So is that an okay spot for you guys in terms of accessing that DLC, or would you have preferred it to be somewhere else?
It's
It's
the
fine with me, and it makes sense. It just
Mm-hmm.
makes sense because what
Yeah,
else were they going to use that egg for?
right.
You know, it's funny that they basically showed you all the access points to all their DLCs, like already.
Are there
But the
other
call,
spots that don't do anything that look like that?
well, I mean, the Coliseum finally got opened up for like that PvP arena,
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't accessible at first,
Right.
and then the egg has always been there, and if that becomes it, then like it's
It
like
is confirmed to be it.
right. So then, yeah, so
What do you think? What do you think the cutscene is going to look like? You think it's just going to be the typical him reaching his hand towards that hand, or is he actually going to grasp the hand and maybe the hand pulls him inside of the egg? What do you think exactly is going to be happening there?
yeah,
I think you will just tell. I think you'll touch the hand, and then it'll be a cut scene where you just like teleport.
What if that bridge actually completes and you get to walk there?
That would be really cool.
you probably. I feel okay. So like, I feel confident that you're gonna like touch the hand and either fall asleep, and go into like the dream world or whatever.
That could be something.
I don't know. I really hope we're not teleported somewhere. I just hope maybe something's extended and we can just walk there instead of just being teleported like we always are in DLCs.
Well, it's not going to be connected to the main map. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've already said that.
Oh, really?
So
So I guess that's.
I would basically bet that you were going to be teleported there.
I don't know. I'm still hoping that bridge completes and you can walk somewhere.
Maybe Michaela will come out of the egg.
Oof.
Hope it's free.
I'm wondering how soon he's going to be an integral part of the DLC. I'm wondering how soon, once you start, that you'll get to actually see him. If he'll be there right at the start, or if you'll have to hunt him down a little bit, and maybe you'll find him after the first boss. I don't know. I'm also wondering just how many bosses there will be, how many trophy bosses, because I just know they're going to add trophies for the DLC they have for every other DLC.
Yeah, I'm sure they have to, and that we wouldn't see that. We haven't seen anything like that since. Did Dark Souls 3 Ring City have trophies?
Yes, all of them do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so we only seen that couple of times, if you don't count the Dark Souls 2 Scholar for Sin trophies, which do include the DLC.
I was going to say all of them. I don't think there's a single DLC that doesn't have trophies.
Well, Dark Souls.
Dark Souls 3
Victorious at the
DLC
Abyss.
does not have trophies.
You didn't
Really?
get trophies for Manus?
It does not have trophies.
No, you don't get a trophy for defeating Manus. I was really hoping, unless I'm getting it mixed up. I don't think there
Because
is.
I'm missing 6 trophies for Dark Souls 3, and they're all Master of Rings, Master of Expression, Master of Miracles, Master of Pyromancy, Master of Sorceries.
Because I think I remember being upset when Dark Souls Remastered was released and there was nothing for the DLC, or at least all the sorceries and all the hexes do not carry over into the hexes only exist in the DLC, I think.
Oh, I've also never done the vanilla ending to linking the first flame.
Oh heck!
I always do the usurpation of fire or end the fire. I guess because in my mind, the linking the fire is the bad ending because you're basically continuing Gwen's cycle, and Gwen is bad. Gwen equals bad.
Gwen bad.
Gwen bad. Gwen
Think
not
about
good.
Gwen.
Gwen bad.
Sounds like a
Gwen
horse.
gone. Think about
Gwen
Gwen.
bad.
Regret.
Gwenbad. Yeah.
Ninja wants to make another appearance on the podcast,
It's
guys.
a kitty.
Yep, he's getting all up in my face. He wants attention. Him's a good boy.
You want me to go through the Melania conversation I was having with that dude on Facebook earlier?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so as you know, I finally defeated Melania after 2 years of trying on and off. So I decided to go on Facebook and like, hey guys, what are your thoughts on Melania? Just to kind of get a conversation going about how I was fighting her, which isn't much different from everybody else. You can only really fight her so many different ways, just because of how she's designed. But all right, so this guy, I was talking to someone earlier, and I was talking about how I wish the punish windows were better for more attacks, just a little bit longer, so you could have more satisfaction in punishing her throughout the fight instead of just having to lightly tap her every single time and just drain her health bar that way. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah, good out of context sentence, everything that you just said. Like, just tap her.
yeah,
You know,
Just tap that ass.
just tapping Melania. So, so he actually uploaded his footage of him fighting Melania. He's not doing any challenges or anything like that. He does get hit a few times, and he's probably over level 100. Looks like probably 150. But he says, "I wish I knew what you meant when you talk about punish windows." And so I responded with, "What do you mean?" And he said, "You keep repeating there's no punish windows, and I don't understand what you mean." So I said, "I never said that. I even have a video on this post showing myself punishing Melania, so I'm not sure what you're talking about." Then he
It
said,
sounds like he just wants you to explain what punish windows are.
What are you doing to Melania?
I don't know.
I'm gonna punish her.
So he said, you literally said a lack of satisfying punish windows and proper punish windows. So that's what I'm talking about. I obviously have no idea what that means since you just claimed I interpreted that wrong. What exactly does that mean? And so I said, what that means is that I personally feel that the punish windows should be longer for more attacks, especially in Phase 2. The most you can do is a couple of light attacks depending on your weapon of choice. The worst punish windows are after attacks like Waterfowl Dance and the Scarlet Bloom, which should absolutely reward players more with a higher recovery animation duration. I feel the fight would be significantly more satisfying and slightly extended with slightly extended punish windows for those attacks specifically. He said, "Yeah, I just disagree, but thanks for clarifying." And I wasn't done talking to him. I was like, no, it's not going to end like that. So I give him a little. I attacked his ego here. I say, well, heck, I thought that was going to go deeper. And so, he definitely chimed back in. He's like, I could. Most people don't want discourse. They just want to be right. So I was just going to leave it well enough alone. And he continues to say, I also included my gameplay because I feel it displays some punish windows. You can punish all of her kicks. You can punish her big flipping down swing attack in heavies with heavies, which he's right about that. I also found a way to punish that attack where she detaches the sword and makes it shorter when she charges at you with a flurry. He is right. If she does the version of it where she stops at the end, you can roll into it and punish. I mean, there are places I never understood the critique that should be easier or more punish opportunities when the game and the boss in particular is supposed to be supremely hard. He's still not understanding what I'm talking about. I mean, it's almost a lot of people that did not watch the video that I posted when I asked them what are their thoughts on Melania. They just answered the question, and whenever they're talking to me about Melania and my critiques about Melania along with it, they act like I'm like, you guys clearly didn't watch my video, because I clearly display that I'm punishing her at every possible moment. I've been practicing her for a very long time, so I definitely notice a lot of opportunities, and I still say that she doesn't have enough punish window times. And so I say, I'm not saying make the boss easier at all. I just wanted more rewards for evading big attacks. Waterfowl dance is fun to evade, but I'm not rewarded for it. I should be excited to see an attack that I understand and have mastered, but Waterfowl dance doesn't have that. Yes, Melania has small windows in between animations, and all bosses have that, but Melania demands it significantly more due to the lack of larger punish windows. It took me 2 years to get this fight without taking damage and etc. I wasn't feeling very satisfied afterwards because the attacks didn't offer enough rewards and satisfaction. I just picked away until it was done, which is all I could do because of the fast recovery times. And then he asked me something that I kind of predicted he was going to ask, because in this video he does dodge waterfowl dance up close. So he asked me, can you dodge waterfowl up close? And I told him I never practiced it. Everything worked out fine running it out completely. And he never followed up on me after that. So I'm not sure what he was after. I think that's
So
all I have.
what you're basically talking about, right? Just to make sure I understand, is that the way I'm understanding it is that waterfowl dance and the scarlet bloom are basically her two most powerful attacks, and they don't give you significant reward to punish her for dodging her two most powerful, most devastating attacks, right?
Right.
I mean,
And even the flower clones, I don't think also has a good punish window. I don't remember it having a good punish window.
well, I mean, technically, if you have any ranged attack, the Scarlet Flower is very
Right. Yeah, and
right here.
same thing with
You're
Moog's AoE Blood Rain. You kind of have to stand there if you don't have projectiles, and that's more of my problem, I guess, because I just don't want to use projectiles like firing arrows. So it's beneficial for people that want to use projectiles.
Or throwing pots. You don't like to use throwing pots either, right?
No, nothing like that. So I mean, you can kind of say that that's a me problem because I just don't use that stuff. But still, it really sucks having to wait there until it's done. But
do
still,
not
huh?
using. Oh, I do not like using consumables whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a huge collection of all of them, and I'm just like the resin and stuff like that. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
So that's like where having a mage character would come in handy, because you could keep your distance and punish her.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like it definitely should have a good punish window for melee characters. It shouldn't just be for people that are
You're
wanting
right.
to have range. He actually did follow up 45 minutes ago. It didn't notify me. He just pretty much just kind of ends in he didn't end in a very provoking way. He just said, because remember what I said last time was I never practiced the up close range waterfowl dance dodge. He said, I couldn't do it my first playthrough, but the fight was still exciting just because it was her and I was not very good. Now that I'm learning it though, the fight has gotten way better. I'm able to be much more aggressive, and there's more of a dance between the two of us, and it's pretty cool. So I'm glad it ended that way. You know, he didn't. I thought maybe he was going to get angry or just say something provoking, but he ended it on a good note.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's nothing that's going to be done to Melania. I don't think From Software is going to jump in saying, "Hey, we're going to add more punish windows." It's just it is what it is. It's been 2 years. They're definitely not going to change it. But it's just it would make the fight a lot more addicting for me if they made changes like that. It might be nitpicky, but you basically have to learn how to really find those little moments in between her animations just to punish her. And I always was just begging her to perform these larger attacks that had those good punish windows just so that the fight could feel rewarding. But sometimes she would just be on and on about using all these basic attacks with thin punish windows. And it made the fight really boring, which is why I had to take breaks because after I get bored, I just start daydreaming. And so I just couldn't stay on top of it all the time. Not like I could with the Godskin Duo, which was a fight I had a lot of fun with, and I just stayed on top of it until I mastered it. Same thing with Godfrey and Radagon and Eldebeest. And then Moog again. Moog was kind of a similar situation like Melania, where you had to find little moments in between his animations to punish him, and he only had certain attacks that were big and you could punish properly. And those attacks were really exciting to see. And like I said, very similar situations where I just kind of got so bored just going through all the attempts, just having to see all these basic attacks where I couldn't follow up on. I had to focus on the animation slowdowns and everything like that. And I guess that's a way to make the boss fight more difficult. It's just not really what I consider satisfaction or rewarding because I really want to get an R2 charge in after successfully dodging a complicated attack. Moog has a very interesting attack where Moog has a lot of very interesting ideas, and I got a script for him. I'm trying not to bash Nihil so much in the review. I don't want to focus too much on that part. I'm just going to say I don't like Nihil. I disagree with it, and maybe move on. But I do want to talk about a lot of stuff I appreciate about Moog, such as how he blinds you basically, and at the split second you got to react to the attack he's doing. So he kind of blocks his telegraph halfway through, and I think that's really fascinating, a very interesting way to design a boss. Because he'll blind you with that slash blast. You don't know if he's going to charge you with a Trident Trust or he's going to swipe you with a horizontal swipe or a vertical strike. And so it's basically just you get to catch the second half of the telegraph. And I don't think we've seen that before, at least from what I can recall. So what's funny is sometimes the attacks can get delayed after the blast. So if let's just say the blast happens, he stands there for a moment and he's like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to attack," and then he'll thrust towards you. And I thought moments like that was really funny, but I'll mention all that in the review. But there were a lot of moments during Moog where I could not attack at all for a solid, probably almost a minute sometimes. He would rain blood down, he would throw blood, and then he would just walk along the blood. So I couldn't punish any of his attacks because there was blood all around him. I'm like, well, I can't do anything. I just had to sit here and wait.
I actually used Swarm of Flies against him.
Swarm of Flies?
Like, yeah.
It's a spell.
Yeah, because I was an arcane dexterity user.
But But I'm glad I learned how to fight him properly and master his fight. So whenever I want to access DLC, Moog is not really a big issue. I'll just jump in there and just. I'm pretty sure the strategy's burnt to my memory at this point. What attacks to follow up on. In second phase, I found a consistent way to handle second phase, even though there's just a bunch of blood being splattered everywhere. But I won't get too deep into it because you'll definitely see on the review on how I handle that.
Didn't you kill him? Didn't you kill him on your character you plan on using on the DLC?
Yeah, but it was an accident.
So did you go after him on a second character?
Yeah, the Gary Bunda build.
That's the one you're going in on the DLC with, isn't it?
No, it's Lark Syncrad.
Oh, okay.
But both of them might end up in the DLC since I already have that character with Moog defeated, so I might as well use him as a backup. Actually, what I think I might do, since I don't know if these bosses are going to have second or third phases or however many phases, I might just go through with Lark Syncrad, do some testing, and I'm like, oh, okay, well this boss has 2 phases. I know that now because if I'm going in there and taking on bosses without receiving damage, then let's just say I spend like maybe a lot of time mastering the first phase, and then I realize after the first phase is done, there's a second phase, and then as I'm practicing the second phase, and I'm thinking that there might be a third phase, and I accidentally killed the boss, and I took damage, and then that boss is gone because Elden Ring doesn't allow you to reload while the boss is dying for some reason. It was like that in Dark Souls 3. I mean, in Dark Souls 3, I could quit the game, reload, and the boss would still be there. But for some reason, Elden Ring has changed that entirely. During a boss death information, quit, reload, come back in. Guess what? The boss is still dead, and I really hate that.
It would have been nice if they had introduced a bonfire aesthetic mechanic in the Elden Ring.
That or just have a boss selection like Sekiro.
Yeah, or that. Which they might end up doing with the DLC. They might. But I mean, so both those characters you mentioned, Gary Bunda and Lark Sincrad, they're both level 50, right?
55.
55. So you're not you did beat him on your level 100 character. That's the one. Is that the one you accidentally killed him on, or no?
No. I retired the level 100 build after defeating Melania with him.
Oh, okay.
And then I rolled the credits for that character, and then I pretty much just put him away, saying, "All right, you're done. You're level 100. I don't really want to use you anymore for boss runs, boss challenges, because that's just too high. Because it's just those points. Those are points going into empty, stats. So level 55, I definitely want to go through the entire DLC with, and whatever they mean by applying Sekiro attack power system. I'm very curious to see how that's going to work out. I hope it's not so alienated
that you'll have to feel like you have to use it.
Well, I don't know. I just don't know exactly what they. I mean, your attack power goes up as you're defeating bosses in the DLC. Is that what they're referring to?
Well, you know how you get a remembrance from each boss? Maybe you'll be able to do like in Sekiro where, you not only can you get a weapon with the boss remembrance, but you can also it'll raise your attack power, maybe by a set percentage or something. I don't know. And it will be interesting to see how they do it. I'm not sure how they're going to pull it off either. Because since your damage is so based on your stats and your weapon level and what weapon you're using. So it is going to be very interesting to see how they implement that.
I mean, your level still has to matter when you get into the DLC, right?
Right.
You enter at level 55, surely you're going to feel like level 55 in comparison. Like if you walk in at level 200, you're going to still feel like you're level 200. I wonder if it's going to be like a drastic scaling like with Bloodborne's DLC where it's ridiculously high.
Oh man, yeah.
Way too high in my opinion. I mean, the boss fights are fine. It's just, I don't know, it feels like I get one-shotted by everything.
The hunter enemies are extremely strong in the Bloodborne DLC.
I did the whole Bloodborne DLC on New Game Plus.
Oh, fuck that.
I didn't want to restart my character because I enjoyed who I had. And I think that might be why Lawrence and actually Ludwig was intensely hard too. Like Lady
Lawrence
Maria,
is a bitch, man.
Orphan of Kos was alright. And well, not alright. I really enjoyed it. That was like my favorite fight out of the entire.
I enjoyed it a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. I got pretty good at it when I beat it.
Lady Maria too, but I beat her too quickly.
I had a hard time with Lady Maria.
I didn't realize how close Lady Maria was in comparison of Melania. Well, someone mentioned that Lady Maria was similar to Melania, and I looked at the footage of someone fighting Lady Maria, and I was like, oh yeah, that is strikingly similar.
Yeah, just unfortunately.
She fucked me up a lot. Lady Maria fucked me up a lot.
I ended up just parrying her. I only defeated her once, but I remember parrying her to get the fight over with. The thing is, she's mandatory to continue the DLC.
I think the only optional boss they have in the DLC is Lawrence.
Yeah. And he's the worst fucking boss.
Dude, he was the hardest boss in the game for me.
I'm so glad I learned to appreciate Ludwig's design a lot more. I used to love his second phase more, but now I love his first phase a lot more.
I enjoy Ludwig a lot.
I enjoy Ludwig, yeah. That cutscene in between phases is iconic.
Yeah. It is pretty wild.
How
But
long did it take you to beat Lawrence?
me?
Me?
Zach
Oh, I don't remember.
or Blake?
I'm
Oh, it took me like 50 tries.
I think I gave it, and that was the only boss I ever summoned someone in Bloodborne. I
yeah.
was like, yeah, I don't like this. I need someone, and it was the guy with the whirly gig.
The only thing I remember from the DLC, really, my first playthrough was just raging a lot through Orphan of Kos.
I
that, that
love that fight
that
so
boss
much.
that boss broke me. I think that was the one boss that broke me the most.
You're trying to do no damage.
No, just trying to defeat him in general. Cause I was at level. I think I was at a pretty low. No, I think I was at level 120 because I used my cannon troll build to fight to
In
go through the
PvP.
DLC.
Oh, you doing PvP still?
Troll PvP where I would just
Right.
blast people with a cannon and one shot them. People got
Yeah.
really
The
ticked
meta.
off at that.
Yeah, the PvP meta has always been 120.
So that makes sense where I was at.
My favorite thing that ever happened was I sat there and I did I forgot. I think it was like this posture. Like I would go into PvP, or like I would have the whole summoning thing, and I'd just sit there on the edge of a rock, outlooking the ocean, and I'd just be like this, waiting for someone. But there was like a huge. It was like there was a bear, like just a normal bear, and then a cave in this like closed off mountain area. Like just like down
What game is this?
Elden Ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'd be sitting there. It's like right at the
Isn't it in
border.
Caelid?
Yeah, right at the border of Caelid.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so I'd sit there. Oh yeah, because that's where you and me were dueling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
it was.
spot, I would just sit there because it was really people would be coming in real fast, and I would beat like 90% of everyone, but one guy was up top of the cliff and just did that. He just kept shooting a cannon way like a
The
huge
jar
distance.
cannon.
Yeah. And I
Yeah, Zach, you could bring that kind of trolling back in Elden Ring. That jar cannon is really strong.
Oh
it's a
yeah.
lot it's actually a lot of fun because it keeps it pretty fresh when someone finds a clever way to get you.
I wonder if
It
you
has some
can.
good range.
I wonder if there are any elevators accessible through invasions because that was the most entertaining part of my cannon troll videos was getting someone to get on the elevator and I could transform into an item or I would transform into a messenger. It was amazing how many people didn't notice that I was there as the messenger. I would just be sitting right on the elevator. They would just jump on. Oh, lolly da. While they go up the shaft, I just shoot them off. It was incredible. I had a lot of fun doing that. I have 3 of
There's
those videos on my YouTube channel that's re-uploaded.
Yeah, I've seen them. They're pretty fun.
Elden Ring has tons of those
Where
because
you
you got like elevators.
elevators.
Yeah, there's tons of elevator
So
sections.
does the cannon actually knock people off their feet?
I don't remember.
Because
A lot of people.
that's very important for the trolling to
One
work.
Right.
video I was watching, someone was using force emit, you know,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
they would befriend the people they were invading. They'd be like, "Hey,"
Oh,
like,
hey. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
and they'd get on the elevator and they'd be going up the elevator, and the person would just keep doing force emit right in the center of
Push
the
them right off.
yeah, knocking them right off, and they did it like 20 times. And it was like,
I really like the troll where the guy dresses up as one of the enemies and just paces back and forth, and the host never notices.
Mm.
You guys saw that
Yeah, I
one?
like those too. Yeah. You know, Zach, you ought to, I don't know if you've ever looked up this guy's YouTube channel, but he's called Yumfa, Ymfah.
No.
That's his YouTube channel, dude. He does the most insane challenges in these games. Like he does items only, beating the game using items only, beating the game as a pacifist, beating the game just using this, just doing that, and he gives you specific, explicit instructions on how to do it, so anybody could do it.
Mm.
And it's just and the way he puts his videos together is highly, highly entertaining. There's no dialogue. He doesn't speak. It's all with text directions that come across very quick, and he has awesome music that plays in the background. It's just, I highly recommend. I'm gonna send you a link to his channel when we get off here.
Okay. It's I like to connect with people that are around underneath 1,000 subscribers. People that are posting video essays for the From Software
Oh,
games.
this guy has a big account. He has a big account.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about something I recently ran into a couple times where I noticed that people are probably around 500 subscribers. They upload a video essay, and usually sometimes their sub count will just jump extremely high because of how successful that video essay was. It's amazing how much engagement, which is something I need to get more into, because if I can develop engagement by just creating video essays, which I know I can do, I just need to do it. That's what I need to aim for. Like with these boss reviews, I kind of need to form them in more of a video essay instead of just a bland, oh, this is a review of Moog. I need to have some kind of grabbing title with it.
Do you have a Twitter account?
I do.
You could try to get your shit out there on Twitter. It would help.
What, just applying the right tags?
Well, just going into, like there's spaces on Twitter that you can go into and share your stuff, and people will watch it. And I mean, you can go on bigger people's accounts and post your videos, post your links. And I mean, you can go on official accounts or official posts and post your videos and stuff, and people will just inevitably see it. And if they find you interesting enough, they're gonna go to your shit and watch it.
Yeah, I've been wondering about how to use Twitter. I mean, I've posted video links with hashtags on it, but it doesn't pull anybody in. So I'm just wondering, how in the world are people gaining an audience whenever they're posting on
You
Twitter?
should go on to posts of people that have an audience and try to pull from that.
Is that how Twitter works?
It's kind of how it works. It also would help if I don't do this, but if you subscribe to Twitter Blue and got the blue check mark, your posts will automatically go out to more people.
I was gonna say, have you tried Reddit?
I'm sorry?
Have you tried Reddit?
Yeah, a
What's your
little
link?
bit. Sort of. I mean, it kind of works, but I kind of had to get off Reddit because there was just too much links to pornography on there.
Oh wow, that shit's really bad on Twitter right now.
Oh, it is. I haven't seen any on Twitter. Not as much as
If
I
you
really
go
on
on
Reddit.
If you go on there's not like a bunch of porn videos and pictures, a whole bunch of porn videos and stuff, but every big post you see, there will be fucking bot accounts in the replies that say nudes in bio, pics in bio, and shit like that.
On Facebook too. I mean, nowhere's safe for that.
But yeah, on Twitter, man, I highly recommend just like following people in the Elden Ring and From Software fandom that have large followings, and just constantly interacting with their posts and just talking to people and then posting your stuff. That's what I would recommend. And it might take a while, but you could gain an audience doing that.
Yeah, and I don't want a humongous audience. I just want a decent engagement on the channel where I post something, people are engaging with it. They're talking about how I can improve on the videos and everything, and just I like that. It's just kind of weird how I have over 1,000 subs, but yet I'll upload something and just nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
Try saying something outrageous for your title.
That's what I've been starting to do. Like with the podcast, I'll just throw something a little bit more out there, and it's been.
Or try to get creative with your thumbnails.
Moog touching my feet.
I was getting creative with the thumbnails, but I was just getting discouraged because I'm like, well, why would I'm putting so much creativity in these thumbnails, but I'm just not getting the engagement. So it's very discouraging. It's just on and off.
Yeah, I understand.
Some years I'll be really into putting a lot of work into YouTube, and then some years I'm like, man, it's just nothing's happening.
I totally understand.
And I'm pretty sure I have the content for the engagement that I want. It's just something's just not working.
I think you do.
It's just I think I got all the right aspects in place. It's just the reach is just not there.
Mm-hmm. And I think you have enough personality. You know, you got some good humor. You know, your grandpa skits, your grandpa voice and stuff is pretty fun. Uh,
I
You
know it.
should just do a whole video like that, like Herbert, or
I
Herbert.
think if you did
Herbert
whole
meets
videos
the
like
nameless
that, that would
king.
be fun.
Yeah, I still want to do the old man playthrough of Elden Ring. It's just the thing is I don't have that much time, and in the
Yeah,
morning and after I get home from work, because and that's why I can't put heavy editing because it just
right.
when you edit, even when you're just doing such basic editing, 5 hours will pass by so incredibly quickly just by just doing basic editing, and if
Yeah,
I try to
and
do
you've got
anything
your
more
day
than that,
job and your family.
yeah, it's just there's not a whole lot I can put in. Unfortunately, really the best I can do in terms of what I really want to do. I mean, I like doing the podcast like we're doing now, and recording maybe an hour footage and then showing the other half of our faces, and and then getting back into writing video essays, creating a nice little format, maybe 10-minute videos of me talking about something, getting that out there. That's it's a nice little hobby, and it makes me happy to do it. I just need the engagement. I want people that'll consistently come on saying, "Oh yeah, this and that. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I disagree." I definitely want to see people disagree, and I can definitely engage with them that way. I've been trying to talk to people with smaller channels to engage with them, people that have video essays, but it's weird. I'll engage with them, but they want to talk to me as if they're a salesman for their channel the entire time. Like, yeah, man, I agree with these points. This video is very important for the community. It's very, very nice to hear how you feel about these things, and then I'll express a little bit more about how I feel about other things. And the guy responds with, "Oh, thanks. Make sure you like the video and watch out and keep an eye out for my next video." I'm like, come on, man. Can you add a little bit more to this context? I didn't come on here just so I can hear a pitch for your YouTube channel.
Like, share, and subscribe, man.
Make sure you subscribe, dude.
Hit the bell.
I think I made one guy upset. I was talking to him about some video essay he made, and he had that whole channel sales pitch. He's like, "Man, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe." I'm like, and then he at first it seemed like he was very into the conversation, and he's like, "Man, And then he approached it again. Definitely, subscribe. Have you subscribed yet, or something like that? And I was like, "Well, don't. It's not personal, but it's not really the content I'm after on your channel. I mean, I want if you want to talk, that's fine. I don't mind having a discussion, but I looked, his videos was just stuff like, oh, the easiest way to do this in Dark Souls, the easiest way to do that in Elden Ring, and that's not the kind of stuff I'm into. I just want to listen to video essays and boss challenges, stuff like that, or even podcasts. If someone has a good Elden Ring or From Software podcast, I can listen to, but I'm not gonna watch something where a guy's like, "Yeah, the easiest way to defeat Radon is to get him to fall into the river." I don't. I'm not gonna spend 5 minutes watching something like that.
Could you imagine if that was possible?
It is possible.
What?
You didn't know Radon can fall into the water and die instantly?
No.
Yeah.
He'll be
like,
a meteorite coming from the sky.
yeah. You exploit that.
Wow.
I'm surprised you didn't know about that one.
No, I didn't.
I didn't
That
know.
sounds like something somebody would make up. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have been patched because this was very early on in Elden Ring, I believe, where someone did this.
So you have to do it. You have to get him to shoot into the water when he's flying down as a meteor.
Yeah. I believe you got to position it just so.
Huh. That's cool.
Well, I mean,
I would never do that,
that's what I
but
did to
it's
the
cool.
Demon of Hatred.
Yeah, it's weird seeing bosses in Elden Ring fall off the cliff because it seems like none of them do that organically, like the Dwarfs
Yeah,
demon.
I have tried to get Margit to fall off the edge of the cliff, and I've never gotten him to.
That would be a little too easy, based on his move set. Just
Right.
that would definitely be a weird one.
Accidentally had the Night Cavalry jump off the bridge and kill him.
I've tried to get that to happen too, and I've gotten really close, but I haven't pulled it off.
You can parry stagger the Draconic Tree Sentinel off the cliff. I haven't done that. I've seen somebody else do it.
That's pretty interesting.
I think you can do one to one of the night birds too, death birds.
That's probably my least favorite boss enemy in the game is the Deathbirds.
Oh,
Yeah, I
they're
don't go
wonderful.
out of my way to fight them.
No, the one on the mountain.
That's the hardest one. That's the, like
Yeah,
the main one. It's the boss. It's
the
the
main
leader
one.
one. Yeah, it's the main one. Yeah.
Uh, it was such bullshit. Like I sat there and I quit playing for 3 months because of that boss.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even quit playing the Falling Star Beast, who was significantly harder.
Yeah, like that one, like, there's several of those in the game, but that one on Mount Gelmir, it's the main one too. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, and then the which one? What a fuck! What are the ulcerated tree demon? The one in the
Oh
Scarlet,
God, I hate those things.
the one in the Scarlet Rot ruins, whatever is down
Mm-hmm.
there. You know, that one's the
Mm-hmm.
worst, and the same with that uh Dragon Guardian.
The Dragonkin soldier.
Yeah, he's that's his worst variant is down there. I know there was like a really annoying magma worm one. Can't quite
I
remember
think
that.
he's also in the mountaintop of the giants.
Yeah, there is a magma worm in Mountaintop of the
Yeah,
Giants. I don't think I've defeated that one yet.
He's the trophy one.
Really? Him in the Mountaintops of the Giants?
I'm fairly certain it's a magma worm Makar.
Are you sure that's not the one that takes you to the Atlas Plateau?
the one down in the cave.
No, it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not.
You don't get a trophy at all for
I
that one?
might be. I might be wrong, but I thought that the one in the mountaintops of the giants was the trophy one.
That would be weird.
Because his name is Magmor Makar. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
that's
It is the one. It is the one. It is the one for Altus Plateau. It
okay.
is.
I was about to say, man, that's random.
No, it is. Y'all are right. I'm wrong.
I definitely want to
And
make a video,
also,
huh?
well, I was just gonna say, also, because I guess the Falling Star Beasts, they're like baby versions of the Estelle boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like Estelle is like the natural uh, evolution of the Falling Star Beasts.
I thought there was only one Estelle, and when I fought the
Nope.
second one, I was like, "Ooh, significantly harder." like,
Well,
like the first
I did
one,
not like that boss in the first run, but I've come to kind of appreciate it a little more. It's not
I
bad.
like the whole cosmic part of it. I mean, that's obviously my
Yeah.
favorite aesthetic is the whole cosmic Victorian like
Hmm.
combination. But no, I really enjoyed Estelle and Ebrietas, Co- Cosmic Queen.
what do you
I
mean
think
from
that
Bloodborne?
yeah, that one was really weirdly designed, and you just hugging her side is very exploitable. but
Yeah, that's still a really unnerving looking boss. Whenever I see it, I'm like, I just don't want to look at it. It's just really
see,
disgusting to
that's
me.
that cosmic horror stuff,
Ebritas,
like just
Abrius,
a,
yeah,
Ebritus, yeah.
just
yeah,
nasty.
because well, the whole idea of like Lovecraftian is like um like it dives into the fear of the unknown, like things you're not technically supposed to comprehend. So when you see like them, you don't really like understand what you're looking at, and that's kind of
Hmm.
like the idea of the monsters.
See, I wish that I wish that's how they would have approached it. Chapter 2 for the final fight was for them to deal with something they can't understand that they're what they're looking at instead of the whole their mind is just adjusting to Pennywise, a giant Pennywise spider dude. I
Yeah,
really wish they would have messed around with something just very cosmic like. I think that would have been a lot more interesting than just bullying Pennywise to defeat him. I mean, unless they plan on making Chapter 3 and decide to do something more cosmic, uh, but I just wanted to mention that really really quickly.
yeah. No, I
You
have this
guys know
tattoo
what
right here.
the two bosses that people that have played Elden Ring have beaten the least? Like these are the two bosses that have the rarest trophies of
Millennia,
players earned.
one of them's got to be Millennia.
Melania is the fourth rarest one that
Oh,
players have earned.
People probably
Three
go search for Millennium.
three is Moog the Omen, the one you fight at the bottom of the sewers.
It was kind of difficult.
The second rarest boss trophy that players have earned, this is on PlayStation, is Lich Dragon Fortisax. And the boss that players have beaten, have the most rare trophy boss that players have beaten is Dragon Lord Plathidusix.
Do you think those three is just based on the locations of those bosses? I mean, Millennia is more mainstream.
I think so.
It might technically be Millennia based on her difficulty, and the other three are just based on the locations.
And this is an interesting one. Right after Millennia, at number 5, is Regal Ancestor Spirit.
Well, that's another mainstream boss on at the end of a very popular quest line.
Well, the thing is, like, right before I fought Radagon, I had to Google search Lich Dragon and Placidix. I had no clue where they fucking were. Like you said, you were like, oh, you probably find it. Like, I would have walked up to the crypt and going like, okay, there's nothing lootable here. And then I would have walked out. And I was like, I don't see anything.
I defeated Radagon. I had to look up where the Elden Beast was.
Yeah.
So did you are you in the process of getting to Fortisax now?
I stopped because I realized I had to fight those gargoyles, which doesn't seem to be too crazy. It's just really annoying, and I just got done defeating Moog. That was annoying for me to learn how to fight, so I decided to jump back on Final Fantasy Rebirth because I should be having that podcast with Storm this weekend. He hasn't contacted me back yet. I don't know how he handles Discord. He just seems to check it once or twice a week. So I'm doing the stuff that I really wanted to see in Rebirth that was hinted at. Like I did the treasure. I'm halfway through the treasure map one where you had to defeat 4 bosses, which I assume were going to be 4 bosses, which were I skipped. I wanted to wait till I finished the game to get to those get to that side objective because I was pretty sure I was going to be under leveled, which I was correct. When I got to those boss fights, I was properly leveled for them, so I definitely would have had a really long time fighting them, like scrapping, to get the Phoenix down spells going flying across the board. So right now, that has me going across the lake or pond or ocean, whatever, trying to find these barrels. So I'm not sure at what point I'm at in. It doesn't want me to find all those barrels across the map. It seems like a huge grind of exploration that's not even that fun driving the boat. And then
exactly why I couldn't get into God of War Ragnarok.
What, on the main quest line?
No, I just can't not do the side quests.
Oh.
And there's just an overwhelming amount, and then so much backtracking. And
I don't think I did a single. I think I only did a few side quest stuff, and I just went back to the story. I think my Ragnarok burnout is over with, so I definitely want to go back and take a look at the side quests because even though I wasn't a big fan of Ragnarok, the combat is still awesome, so I definitely want to take that out.
I think the story is really fun too. Like, I honestly play the new God of War games for the story, which is kind of. But I was gonna say a bad joke after that, but
we love bad jokes here.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say I watch porn for the story. Because it's just a violent fighting game.
Suddenly a skip in the podcast.
Yeah. Edit that one out.
It just begins with me saying, anyway, back to the subject. But do you think we'll see any repeat bosses in the DLC, or do you think the DLC will just be contained with its own bosses and enemies?
Are you talking about like a repeat from the main game?
Correct. Like, will we see like giants or more
I
magma
hope we
worms?
don't see bosses. I would hope not, honestly. I would hope it's mostly all brand new stuff.
Yeah, that might be the safest route to go because I don't know if it'd be a good idea to throw more magma worms and dragons into the DLC.
I bet we get a new dragon. I would be surprised if we didn't get a new dragon.
Could see it,
but ancient one. It's like
I'm still betting.
Yeah, like it's just that.
I'm still betting on a sleep dragon.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I like the whole fire giant.
The Wicker Man. That's what
Yeah,
people are
that
calling
Oh
him.
yeah, yeah.
he looks like I should do a bunch of drugs and talk to gypsies for
Yeah,
a
I'm
night.
definitely Wicker Man is definitely one of the bosses I'm looking. Well, actually, all of them I'm looking forward to. But the lion, the fake lion boss,
The dancing dragon
the
thing.
dancing or the lion costume boss, whatever. I guess are they calling it the dancing lion? It looks like a lion.
They're saying that it's basically a play on the dancing dragon from
Oh yeah,
Chinese
that's what you meant. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
culture.
that one because it just looks very unsettling because it's a
Hmm.
costume. So it's just I don't
Yeah.
think we've seen anything like that.
Watch it
Um,
not even be a boss, and it's like those lion enemies that you find all over. It's less
oh, the
like an
Lion
elite enemy.
Guardians. Those are good. Those
Yeah,
I realized that is such a shame that the Lion Guardian was never a boss in Elden Ring because they are a fantastic fight.
they're cool enemies.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like a precursor to Malekith almost.
The Finger Creeper. Wait, what'd you say?
I feel like
Malekith?
they're almost like a. I feel like they're almost like a precursor to Malekith.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They are a bit similar to Malekith, except they don't have a bunch of nonsense flying everywhere.
They don't have sword stuff. Yeah,
Finger Creeper would be a great boss. He has a very interesting moveset that I feel like a lot of people don't even see. He's got even got a
you're
little.
talking about the giant hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it would be a gank boss, but it would be two of them, and then like a stall.
Well, they ought to have a duo fight whereas the Finger Creeper and then a giant foot, like
Yeah,
a toe
that's
creeper.
more Elden Ring feeling right
But the
there.
hand, the hand does like this move. It floats around, goes like that. And I
yep.
like how whenever you stagger him, he's laying down like this, and you stab him in the nub. And then he also has
Yeah.
a spell that he shoots at you. But it's a really cool enemy, and I just like I said, I don't feel like a whole lot of people just either run past them or kill them in like two shots. Then we got the giant crayfish that also has a very interesting move set that I feel like a lot of people just really just run past. I think a
Those
lot of
guys are snipers.
yeah, that's true. You can't run away from them. You got to pretty much just walk in
What-
diagonally.
What's the
But
ones that? What are the guys who teleport and breathe?
The revenants.
yeah,
Yeah.
screw those
So
things. Those things
I
should
don't
have been a
like them.
boss. They should have placed a finger creeper in that one place instead of that thing.
you remember how there's like four crawfish in that like sleeping around the building?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I go up there and I'm like almost getting them, and like I'm like getting the hit in and then kind of like backtracking. All of a sudden, a
And then you
revenant,
spawn in the
right,
revenant.
yeah, like right next to me while they're shooting water at me, and and I couldn't
I
like.
really didn't like those guys in my first playthrough.
Oh, they're terrifying,
Oh,
especially that whole trench where they're literally lined up all the way down the trench. Like, yeah, it's so stupid.
I want to make a video essay about that dungeon that contains Moog the Omen. I mean, since a lot of people don't seem to go in there because it's very difficult for a lot of people. So I feel like it's a kind of a inspiration from Stephen King's It. It reminds me a lot because you go into the sewers and then and I don't know. I mean, Moog the Omen is not exactly a Pennywise character, but it just reminds me of the movie, it, because you go deep into the sewers just to fight fight a scary creature. So I would like to make a video making little callbacks to it. I think that would be fun.
I feel like Moog the Omen is like like say that no one dies in Elden Ring, right? Like Moog the Omen is what happens to Moog after you defeat him. It's like now he has to live in the sewers, hiding from everybody, eating off rats.
It's definitely a good. It was great practice for the true fight of Moog. He's just nailing down the first phase, even though you don't really get to see a whole lot of the first phase with the true fight. Because I feel like once you kind of get it down, he only has a chance to attack maybe a few times. Because sometimes, as you saw in my footage that I sent on Messenger, I really could just stagger him, and then if I get several attacks in, he immediately goes into several blood rituals, and by the time I jump attack on that, he's entering nihil. So it's crazy how exploitive he is on that. I mean, I guess if I really want to respect the combat time value even more, I just wouldn't attack during the blood ritual. But the bad thing about that is he might just go back into a loop of him just performing attacks that I can't even punish. Like I said before, he'll just throw blood and then walk in the trail of blood, and I can't do anything because I get tagged by the fire. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of a it's an unwinnable situation in terms of that. You either just go down into the sewers and just experience and respect the combat time value for that alone, and then you go to the true fight and then just respect the second phase. It's just, I mean, I'm glad. That's why I'm glad that Moog has that variant in the sewers, because I feel like I can appreciate the first phase a lot more compared to the true fight because of all the problems I personally have with the blood ritual stuff.
Yeah. Like in the context of the game itself, Margit and Morgott, they're the same person. They're the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Morgott and the two Moogs are all brothers.
Who? Margot and who?
The
No.
two Moogs.
Oh, they are brothers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And obviously the two Moogs, they're twins.
Hmm.
I remember I had to watch some guy in a monotone voice explain to me everything Dark Souls, like all of the lore.
That's why
And
you got to watch Vati, man. You got to watch Vati.
yeah, I forgot who I was watching. Like I've noticed that if I'm watching it like a video, their voice is a huge thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Do you,
Exact. He has a beautiful voice, and like it's like, but some people like I don't know, man. Like I was listening to this one guy, and next thing I knew, I woke up. So I was like, all right, well, I retained nothing.
That's what first got me watching Fighting Cowboy. He has a very soothing voice.
I really,
I like people who have comedy in their, like give me. It's almost like incentive to listen because I want to hear the joke. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I really like listening to Moist Critical. I like the way his voice sounds. And
I've watched a few clips of his stuff.
and Angry Video Game Nerd. I really like the sound of his voice and the way he explains things and talks about certain games. And
I
and
think one of the worst. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, and his Monster Madness videos, I love those. It just has so much nostalgia for Halloween, and his presentation for those videos is incredible. It's a shame that he's calmed down so much, but he might be getting creatively bankrupt a little bit. So I can understand where he's coming from and just not posting as much as he used to, because he's been doing this for over a decade now. So you think you might want to slow down at some point.
Yeah.
well,
I think
I
one of the YouTubers that I really hate listening to the most, like that's like kind of popular. You guys ever heard of Dreamcast guy?
That sounds familiar.
Dude, he has the most annoying fucking face and voice on YouTube. I swear.
Dreamcast guy.
actually
Dreamcast guy.
actually enjoy Kid Icarus. That one.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he does. He puts a lot of. He doesn't. He releases a video like once every 4 months, and then he has another thing that he makes videos of him playing games. But like his review videos are like 2 hours long, but they're like fully edited. Like a lot of like he scripts the whole thing. Like a very unique type of humor. I
Hmm.
enjoy that one a lot. And then I
Right.
my son likes Markiplier. We watch Markiplier and
He can be
Jacksepticeye.
funny.
Is he still
Yeah.
Markiplier still making videos?
Oh, every day, most. Yeah. No,
He,
literally.
Ooh,
Like,
he
Markiplier.
has
I
he
think
has a cool voice and a sense of humor.
Yeah.
No, I feel like his reactions are a bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Sometimes
little
it's
bit.
cut down a lot. Like if you were to watch like his more recent, like there's videos like where he still does it, but he doesn't like. I
I
don't
think
know.
I think he isn't he directing like a feature length film.
Yeah, about the game Iron Lung, which I heard, which I mean I watched him play it, It looks like, I don't know. I can't decide if I actually want to play it or if just watching it was enough for me. But its concept is interesting because you're in a submarine with no windows. You have a map, and it doesn't tell you where you are, and you have to like it'll tell you where you start, and then you have to crank the thing to go forward, and you'll hear alarms if you're near a wall. So that's kind of like how you can figure out where you are.
Is it a
Um,
horror game?
yeah, it's a little small indie game. Like the whole concept is you move in the submarine in an ocean full of blood on Mars, I think, and
Whoa.
uh, and then something gets you at the end. But you take pictures, and that's the only way you can see what's going on outside. Is you'll take a picture, and it'll be like, and then it'll just like like here's this like good picture where you can see what's going on, and like if you move just a little bit more forward and take another picture, like whatever was in the picture will be closer. Like it's not. It's very simple, but it's basically like you're on death row, and this is like if you do this, you can get out. That's like your incentive. Like you just you need to go to these destinations, and you have to use a compass and your because you still have a compass and all that stuff.
Right.
That's how you figure out where you're going. It's just a navigation game basically, but it's a horror game too, so that's the experience part of it.
Oh, I wanted to mention Pacific Drive. Is it the same way for you? Whenever you're playing, hours just seem to fly by with it.
Oh yeah, dude,
I,
it's so fun.
I was playing it. I only played it in 2 or 3 sessions, and I realized that sometimes I have time to play video games in the morning if I get up early enough. Like if I get up at 6 o'clock, I have an hour to play video games, and before I know it, I just blink and it's 7 o'clock. With
Yeah,
Pacific Drive, I'm like, my goodness, because I think it's because there's just so much involved with it. Because you got to manage your vehicle, you got to make the repairs, you got to pay attention to what's going on in the treacherous world, because you got some sections of the earth rising up for some reason, and then you got those little things that flock around and test your vehicles. You got to get outside and whack them with the crowbar, and then also dismantling stuff so you can craft stuff so you can keep grabbing stuff.
did you get a quirk yet?
No, that doesn't sound familiar. I only played maybe a few hours.
Well, I mean, so you won't. It won't tell you. It'll if you look and you're paying attention. One of the screens, the one that tells you the stats of your vehicle in the garage, it'll say quirk detected or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to look at that because I could tell what quirk I had. Because every time I would, it was just annoying the shit out of me, and that's what they're for. They're meant to either be detrimentally dangerous or just minor inconveniences and everything in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you have to do is you have to diagnose it. You have to do this item is doing this because this item, or this item is doing this, causing this item to do this.
Okay.
So you have to pick like the item's action. So okay, so for example, so when I closed my trunk, every time I closed my fucking trunk, it would honk at me really loud, and it was just pissing me off because I had to keep opening and shutting my trunk so I can craft and put something in storage, and then shut it again. And I'm like, and I didn't know what that was. I'm like thinking, I didn't know what a quirk was yet. You know what I mean? Like I
That's
thought the quirks were good, and then I find out that quirks are like your vehicle basically having its personality, and it's just you have to fix its personality. So
interesting.
yeah,
I know.
because it's a remnant. Your vehicle is called a remnant, and only you have it. You know what I mean? In this world, like you're the only person with a car, um, in this pocket dimension. And because I've been like looking at the lore, more I play the game, the more into the like reading it I get into, and I'm finding that your vehicle basically is like is both an angel and devil is what I'm kind of understanding so far.
Hmm.
So like it's keeping you here, so you need to sever from it in order to leave. But at the same time, so what happened one time, I got one of the stable cores, put it in my car, and then I activated a gate. But the only way to get to that gate was up a hill, and the car wasn't going to make it up a hill. And this was really cinematic for me in my immersion to this game because I got out of the car and I just start sprinting. You know, there's radiation everywhere. I'm quickly dying actually, and I'm just sprinting towards the pillar of light just to get out of there. And it says, "Get in your car." As soon as I get to the pillar, like, no, so I can't even see.
Dang.
I have taken so much damage that the screen is basically just all like blood, and there's smoke everywhere, and the radiation, and the second because there's two waves of storms that come in after you open up that port gate. You got the radiation one, then you just got full on destruction that follows that one,
Now,
and then so I die, right? And this is what the game does to explain it. I died, and then all of a sudden, I wake up in the seat of my car, and the car's just rolling forward to the garage. Your guy just wakes up and from consciousness. Your car finds you and brings you back home.
oh,
So
wow.
like, yeah, so there's like this connection to the vehicle. You know what I mean? Like it's really. There's just so much depth to the game. Like they just did such a good job. I am
It'd
like
probably be the most underrated game of the year then.
oh yeah, no, it is just fantastic. I can't even like
Now,
and I'm still at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like I've only done two of the main missions so far, but I
so
have gone to a lot of areas.
so the levels branch out. You have a choice to go to like I think just tier one levels or level one, whatever that one represents. And so I noticed that when I went to that level, I didn't see any main objectives to do. I just collected some materials and then I grabbed the ball and put it in that little device and then opened up a gate and I went back to the garage. But then I noticed I couldn't go back to to that level. Are those just basically sections to traverse into the next section, or do they
Um, did you leave using a stable core, or did you leave through a road?
Oh, no, I didn't lead through a road. I just grabbed that radioactive ball and put it inside that device in
That's the
the passenger
stable.
side of the vehicle, and then it opened up one of those light pillar gates that takes you back to the garage.
Right. So the stable anchor, which is
Yeah,
that,
the anchors.
as soon as you go through the port gate, you will always be taken back to the garage. So
Okay.
then you have to restart your traveling. So what you have to do, and this is why going to multiple areas is a little bit more like preparation wise, because you won't be able to go back to your garage and do your repairs. You only have what's on hand for two areas
Okay.
now. You know, so you have to drive. It'll on your map. It'll be the road that you need to go to will be orange, or there'll be a little orange square
Mm-hmm.
right at the exit, and that's the direction. That's where your objective is. So you have to drive through the entire thing. You can now. This is what you need to still do though. Still clip the stable anchors because that's what you use to buy upgrades. Because what the stable anchors are, and there's different ones too. There's unstable anchors, and then I think the other one's chaos anchors or something, and then I think there's also a fourth one because as you go further up the blueprint trees, because there's blueprints for everything. You know what I mean? And that's what you use that's your leveling up system right there is unlocking those blueprints so you can then craft those. Because right now I have a steel vehicle. The whole thing's black. It looks smooth. You know what I mean?
This
I have storage things on the side of it, and what was the other thing? I just upgraded everything to the next level basically. And then there's also more crafting benches you can make. So what is there right now is not what
right.
you'll unlock so much more.
This
Like it's
I have never played a game like this. I mean, in a
yeah.
way, it's kind of similar to Death Stranding, but just more chaotic. And you, of course, you have a vehicle, but it's just I can't really compare it to anything else other than Death Stranding.
There's a little bit of Rage 2 in there, and there's a little bit of Mad Max in there, just despite the
Yeah, Mad
um
Max, that's good. Yeah.
yeah, just despite the wasteland
Oh,
post-apocalyptic thing.
it's something really eerily in a nostalgic way. When I was a kid, I was just terrified of storms, and I would pay attention to the radar of the storm approaching. And in
Hmm.
this game, it kind of has the same effect again, because I look
Oh,
at the map and I see that green blotch approaching me, and it's like terrifying. I'm like, what's this gonna bring? And the
did
first
you
time,
know you can?
huh?
Sorry, continue. Finish what you were saying.
Oh,
How?
well, I was just kind of anticipating it, or at least trying to outrun it, but it finally just creeped up on me, and then the trees started blowing. I was actually out of my vehicle. Next thing I knew, my vehicle was thrown to the side somewhere. It was really freaky.
Mm. Yeah, no, there's multiple storms, so that green thing can be multiple things. But if you're not near your vehicle, how you can tell is if you look up at the sky, it'll be a red swirling mist coming at you.
Oh, heck.
Like you can
That's
you
even
can
scarier.
physically see the storm actually coming
Mm.
at you, like, and approaching at a quick speed. So like if you're that's the other cool thing because you have to rely on your vehicle for your radar, right? But everything is still visible. Like you can still like you have to, if you're perceptive enough, you can actually see what's going on around you. And as I play more, I discovered that I need flares constantly. I have the blueprint to make a flashlight now, but like I could not see half the time, and I'm not gonna mess with the settings because I kind of like how it's all set. It's very
Yeah,
I can see realistically, you know.
yeah, I noticed they had a lot of settings, and I'm like, I'm just gonna put it on default because I don't really want to screw anything up from the intended design.
But the intended design is definitely like very satisfying. Like it's dark and it's kind of hard to see at times, but like for that, I mean, that's what it would be like in real life. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's I don't know. I'm really falling in love with the game. Like it's certainly totally different. Like you said, like I can't really describe it. All I can say is it kind of has like storms from Mad Max in it that are like Mad Max, anyways, and the alien thing called abductor. Nice. Fuck yeah.
That cover art is beautiful.
Yeah, that is. Oh, the game is just so smooth. It is just so well made. Like there's
So there
bumps.
is actually like a traditional enemies.
Yeah, they're basically different obstacles. So everything in it is an anomaly, right? So there's this one anomaly called left right, which is I feel like a very lazy name. But regardless, what it does is it reverses all of your oh, it's pretty.
That is cool.
But it reverses your car's
Is that a
control.
steel book?
No, it's not, unfortunately.
Hmm. Are those art cards that came with it?
Yeah, these are cards that come with it.
Nice.
Nice.
And this is the little traveler's journal.
Nice. Yeah, I
Uh,
know. It's so fun. It really fits that whole like
That's pretty
alien
cool.
alien road trip kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like
oh yeah.
Hmm.
kind of like Meet the Mitchells. Or not Meet the Mitchells. Mitchells versus
Meet the Robinsons.
no, that one where they're all fighting like a robot apocalypse came because the person like made the new iPhone, and the iPhone just took over the system and then tried to arrest
Oh
all of
wow.
the humans. It's like
I don't think I've seen that.
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Oh no, I
It's
haven't seen that.
it's like a kids anime like Disney. It's just not made by them, but it's basically the art style. It was questionable at first, but it's definitely a very unique art style, and I can appreciate it. My son loves it. But what was I saying about that? I think I talked too much about
You're
the
talking about you're talking about left right.
right. So left right will yeah reverse all of your car's controls, and then
Whoa.
there's also another anomaly that's similar to the storms, but you don't see it on the radar. and there's spreading radiation, like almost a living. Like you'll be standing there, like scavenging a building that you're come by or something like that. I literally walked outside of the building, and then all of a sudden a green splash came right in front of me, and radiation just started spreading on the ground.
Whoa.
And yeah, and then the longer your drives, then you having to worry about your battery having charge in it. You want to upgrade your gas can so you have more gas you can carry around. You want to make sure you always have an impact hammer and always have a saw. And there's even more tools to unlock for different things. Like there's these scissors that apparently shoot an explosive into metal so you can like scavenge the entirety of the car's frame instead of just the doors, panels, and tires. Like the next tool will allow you to take apart the entire car for more materials. Because what you have to do is you go around, you can scrap material, like you got a flat tire, or not flat, yeah, you got a flat tire. You can go around dismantling other rundown cars' tires, and then just build yourself a new one and replace it. And then you can scrap that one that you just replaced. You know what I mean?
I just thought of something. How would you guys feel if a boss in Elden Ring, like in the DLC, where the boss actually causes your control inputs to change, like it's some kind of confusion effect?
No,
It'd be crazy.
Where like if you try to go forward, you actually go backwards, and if you try to do a light attack, you actually do a heavy attack.
there's a few
And you have
games
to
that
pretty much have to memorize how. You had maybe you had to fight a good chunk of the boss that way, so you had to memorize how to fight like that. I think that would be pretty wild. I thought.
yeah, at least one gimmick boss or something.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys
But
think
That
you
would
would
be
be okay
crazy.
with something like that?
yeah,
I think I would be okay with it, maybe.
if the boss was fun enough and memorable.
Yeah,
Right.
not annoying. I'm
Have
sure
you
there's
ever
going to be
played,
annoying bosses in the DLC, of course, but
have you ever played Metal Gear Solid?
which one?
The
Not.
just Metal Gear Solid, like the one for the PS1.
I played a little bit of it.
So there's a boss in it called Psycho Mantis.
Mm-hmm.
You have to beat him a very like now I don't know if I mean it should be pretty common knowledge. Anyways, you get to the boss. Um, when you're fighting him, he's gonna read your memory card. He's like, "Oh, like you're
Got
a fan
this.
of Crash Bandicoot, like and like brings up a whole bunch of games like Max Payne, and there's quite a library of lines he has depending on what games you have on your memory card, which is cool.
Yeah.
But so you can't hit him, right? What he does is he keeps controlling your friend, and if she dies, you lose as well. And she's trying to kill you, so you can't hit him. And he's like, and he keeps giving you hints, and that's the fun thing about Metal Gear Solid. Like, if you can't really figure it out, kind of listen to what they're saying, because they're like actively giving you hints, really. Very cryptic ones, but still. But Praying Mantis, Screaming Mantis? No.
Psycho
Did you say
Mantis.
Psycho Mantis?
Mantis, I just like, but
Screaming Mantis.
yeah, well, that's the boss in Metal Gear Solid 4. But so yeah, Psycho Mantis. What you have to do to hit him is you have to take your controller out of the port 1 and put it into port 2. Like and once you do that, he's like, "How can you hit me? Like, what is happening?" And all that shit. And in Metal Gear Solid 4, because they brought back Screaming Mantis, who's supposed to be like the predecessor to Psycho Mantis, right? Because it's it's the PS3, but because the PS3 you don't have a PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 port, right? Or PlayStation player 1 to 2. And it'll like call you out on that. It's like, are you trying to change a different player? It's like, doesn't work here. like it breaks the fourth wall by actively, That's why I liked Metal Gear Solid, because it could fuck with you like through the game.
it's a
Hmm.
shame that Metal Gear Solid 4 does not have a port. It's just stuck on the PS3.
Yeah, I'm glad I played it though. It was probably the most epic one. Like my favorite.
They'll probably end up remaking it for PS5, like that they did that collection for the first three.
Blue Point should do it.
Yeah,
Well, it would be PlayStation exclusive then, and I don't think they're going to have that
Isn't it?
anymore. I don't think.
Well, I mean, it is a PlayStation exclusive. Number 4 is.
Right, but I'm pretty sure that
Phantom
Konami
Pain
is
is
gonna.
for other systems though.
I'm pretty sure Konami is gonna release these remakes on all platforms.
Hmm.
That's
I
who. That's the publisher, right? Konami.
yeah.
think
No,
so. Yeah, because
no, they're
Konami and
redoing.
Kojima, I always
Yeah.
apply theirs too. I'm pretty sure Blue Point's working on God of War. The,
You think so?
yeah, the upgrade for God of War
Well, they
1.
said they've been working on. They said they've been working on a new IP and not
New IP.
a remake. Yeah.
Oh,
Forgot. They're doing Silent Hill. Konami is like they have 4 Silent Hill games being released
I'm
because they've been so much dormant.
well,
Like now
even
what?
well, going back to God of War real quick. It's just even though Blue Point's not doing it, I'm pretty sure they are working on it. I think they've given some subtle hints from
Yeah.
what I understand. Like they're
Like
using the new
Sony Santa
Kratos
Monica is
voice
working
actor
on it.
for some stuff, which I would, I mean,
Isn't the first guy dead?
no, I thought there was. I think that was just a rumor.
Oh,
But if they, I actually wouldn't mind it if they actually recreated God of War 1 with the new gameplay style. I think that would be pretty interesting to approach it that way. I mean, even though I like the platforming, and unfortunately this new play style just doesn't have it, which I wish they would apply it. Maybe they could apply a good mix of it. But still, I mean, the new gameplay, I've learned to love it. So I definitely wouldn't pass on it if they created the first God of War with that gameplay style.
I've heard that they're remastering or remaking whatever the whole original trilogy into like a collection.
Yeah, that'll be good. It's a shame that they're probably going to pass on Ascension. That game needs more attention, but it's just the story is really bad, but the gameplay is really good. But
Isn't that the PSP game?
no, that's
I had to watch
PS3.
I had to watch all the
Oh,
cutscenes just so I knew what was going on.
But the boss fights were really fun in Ascension. The enemies were fun. You get to fight giant elephants in Ascension. You rip their brains out. It was fantastic.
Is that the one where you have to fight Hades' wife?
No,
Persephone?
that's Ghost of Sparta, I think. Or
Yeah.
no, that's Chains of Olympus.
those are the two PSP games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they're very important to Kratos' backstory.
Well,
Yeah.
God of War
One
3
of
makes a big callback to Chains of Olympus because you get to see Hades' wife's coffin before you get to fight Hades, and he's like, "Ah, you killed my wife, man! How dare you!" And so,
them.
and if you didn't play the
And
PSP,
then
Casual like that. Oh,
how dare
is
you
it Ghost
kill
of
my
Sparta that
wife?
is it Ghost of Sparta that tells you why he has his white skin?
Oh, I mean, the first game explains why he has white skin.
yeah, that's
Oh,
the
okay.
actor of his wife and
Yeah,
daughter.
Yeah.
Ghost of
Uh,
Sparta is about his brother.
yeah,
Mm.
and then Chains of Olympus is about his daughter.
Yeah, see, Kratos has a tattoo of that red line because it's inspired
Yeah.
by his brother's birthmark.
Are you ever gonna play it, Blake?
If they're actually doing the remastered collection for PS5, I will.
No, ruin
Just
it.
I'm not going
hopefully
to go back. I'm not going to go back and play the original releases. No.
they
I was
need
gonna
to
say
cut out the.
mention.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say the Chains of Olympus one. Like that is
Oh,
probably the most critical moment in Kratos' entire decision making.
Yeah,
Because
he has a lot of important decisions to make in Chains of Olympus.
yeah, like like it makes the new God of War games contrast a little different. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much about what goes on,
Yeah,
especially if you intend to play them.
most
I'll
definitely.
probably never play the PSP releases.
Oh, well, I mean they're on PS3. I don't know how hard it is for you to play PS3, but I think you can access them through PlayStation Now if you still have that.
Oh, I did not. I was not aware.
Yeah. Do you want us to spoil it or not?
I don't care.
So, like in Chains of Olympus, he makes a bargain with Persephone to have his daughter back. So he sits there in this like field with his daughter, like happy, but he has no powers anymore. Persephone took all of his powers, like every god intends to do with Kratos, and she succeeds in this, and then intends to go and wipe out the entire world, and and kill everybody. um, the deal is that he can be with his daughter as long as he doesn't have powers. So they make you, with a button command, shove your daughter off of you, who is constantly saying, "Daddy, please, I just love you," and like literally like begging you. And if you're a parent, it's horrible because it is like a literal child just trying to be with their parent, and you have to completely and utterly ignore them and just be cold-hearted and just shove them away and then go grab your blades and then go kill everyone. But like it's such a long, and it's
Wow.
not just like press the button and it happens, right? It's like you have to like do multiple buttons. So you have to like almost like are you sure? Are you sure?
You don't have the option to not do it and just hug and just love your daughter.
I think it just
I don't think there's
yeah, I
alternate
think it just
scene.
gives you the button command to shove her, and then you just sit there, and she just keeps begging you. So you could be stuck in a loop of her begging you.
You just quit the game
Oh.
there and just pretend that was the ending.
Yeah, you could just
Oh, they lived happily ever after.
Atreus doesn't exist.
Where are they? Like in Elysium or something?
I think they're in Tartarus,
Oh, whoa. That's not a good place.
but yeah, so like, and then he kills Persephone, like right after. But yeah, so like it gives you that contrast of like what he did,
That's pretty dope.
and now he has Atreus, and like what he's done before, and like,
Atreus.
it's weird. Like you if you just watch like a video about like all the stuff that he's had to do, because he brings it up in Ragnarok too. He brought up his brother a couple times, and then that's what made me look up the Ghost of Sparta, all the cutscenes in Ghost of Sparta, where she just fights Charon, I believe.
The ferryman?
Huh? The ferryman.
The ferryman? Yeah.
Charon, I believe, is the final boss in that one, and he's the one.
That's interesting.
And he's the one who kills your brother. So you have like some final moment of redemption with your brother who hates you. You have to fight your brother. You have some moment of redemption. You both team up together. He dies.
Yeah, Kratos has a really tragic fucking arc, man.
Yeah, no, it's almost as bad as Berserk. If you no.
Yeah,
Berserk is bad.
one moment I really liked Ragnarok.
It's pretty close. I'd say Kratos and Guts' arcs are pretty similar.
Oh, really?
Kratos didn't have to watch the person he loved get raped in front of him, though, and then lose the memory of him ever existing in the first place. And then have his arm and then one of his eyes being poked out while having to watch it.
Jeez.
Then his arm got bitten off while it was happening, and the person.
Oh, dude, Zach, you should watch Berserk, dude. It's fucking brutal.
Oh, there's actually a show. I thought it was just a comic book series.
No,
it's a show.
There's the three golden arcs, which are like the best years of Guts' life, and they're horrible. They're the best years.
And they're on Netflix.
And you watch because then they have the rest of the series. Yeah,
Did the scene where Griffin? Oh man, the scene where it all happens, it all goes down it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, this entire time it's like.
And then there was a whole anime series they made like back in the 90s. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it either.
They remade it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
People don't like the anime direct or the art style they chose to go with, which was kind of a 2.5D, you know, like not 3D, not 2D, just right in between, and it kind of had that uncanny look to it. But it was still really good. Um, it didn't what do you call it? It didn't conclude the story though. They haven't concluded the story yet because the writer died, but they say the
Yeah.
predecessor, he's basically hands on, and the writer has
Left notes and shit.
yeah, exactly, like no, the predecessor knows what he wants out of the rest of the show, so they're gonna remake Berserk one more time, but I still highly recommend you watch the new one because the new one just has the craziest. If you read the comics, it's even worse. But if you watch it, it'll give you kind of vivid, in a way, details of what's
Yeah,
going on.
my cousin has the whole manga that's out. He has the manga, and he just tells me that it's just so insane.
Yeah, it is. It's there's parts that are really hard to watch, and that's the
Yeah,
interesting part of the anime.
yeah,
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up there because I need to go to sleep just in case my wife decides to have the baby at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's probably a good plan. I gotta
But
go cook with Chewy now.
it was great talk, and I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you
yep.
guys later.
Yep.
See ya. Send us a picture of the ratatouille when you're done.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Later, guys.